Hello everybody, my name's Nerdy Lover and welcome back to our football betting series here on YouTube, Premier League edition. We don't have much of a recap for you because we did just release a monthly update video which does include the results for our last round of Premier League fixtures, so if you're interested please go and enjoy that. Without further ado, let's get into the predictions for the weekend, the 5th and 6th of November. We kick things off with 15th place Leeds hosting 14th place Bournemouth. And Leeds shocked a lot of neutrals by beating Liverpool at Anfield by 2-1. They were handed a lead due to a misplaced pass from Joe Gomez and a slip from Alisson, but say what you will, they did add another goal and only conceded once more in the match to take 3 points back to Yorkshire. This is a big result for Leeds and for Jesse Marsch, as they picked up their first win in the last 8 competitive fixtures since their 3-0 victory against Chelsea back in late August. Statistically, Leeds score 1.3 goals per game from 2.3 key chances created. Defence could use some improvement, 1.6 goals against, and only 2 clean sheets in their 12 matches so far. The Cherries come to this game following a last-minute defeat at the hands of Spurs. Despite taking a 2-goal lead in their game, they were bested in the second half, and Bentancur put the cherry on top of the cake with his 92nd minute winner, crushing the home fans' hopes of taking 3 points from a top 6 side. This does mean that Bournemouth are now on a 3-game losing streak and winless in their last 4. Bournemouth do score 0.9 goals per game, actually outperforming their 0.8 key chances created. Defence, as expected, is their main issue. They do allow 2.2 goals against per game, with only 3 clean sheets in their last 12 matches. When we look at the head-to-head records, neither of these sides have played each other since a championship fixture in the 14-15 season. So despite Leeds winning both of those games, I'm not sure how much stock we can really put into these results. My angle here is that Leeds are the better side on paper with the slightly better form and will have the confidence going into this game. Leeds also have the creative and goal-scoring edge acumen over Bournemouth. I feel that Leeds at home can probably pick up the result here against Bournemouth, and we're going to be taking them in a single for our first bet of the episode. Next up, we have table-propping 20th place Nottingham Forest hosting 11th place Brentford, and Nottingham Forest were dispatched in pretty brutal fashion by Arsenal at the weekend, losing by 5-0. This does mean Forest have won just 1 in their last 11 games, and that was a shock victory against Liverpool the previous week by 1-0. Nottingham Forest do have quite a blunt attack, scoring 0.7 goals per game from 1.6 key chances created per 90, so the chances are there, they're just not taking them. Despite their defence improving a little bit of late, they still average 1.9 goals against with just 3 clean sheets in 13 games. Nottingham Forest also have one of the worst home records in the Premiership, 2 wins, 1 draw and 3 defeats through 6 games so far. Brentford come into this game following their 1-1 draw with Wolves, and they are now 3 games without a win. Despite this, Brentford do average a decent 1.5 goals per game from an impressive 2.6 key chances created. Their defence is slightly better than Forest, conceding 1.7 goals per game, with 4 clean sheets in 13. When we look at the head-to-head records, these two sides have not played since the 2021 season that Bournemouth took in the Championship, both sides splitting the points, winning 1 game apiece. What's my angle then? Brentford do have the better statistics, and combining that with Forest's poor home form, I'll be taking the Bees in this one. But as they're still not too sure about steadying their ship, I'm going to be going for a half stake in this one for just £10, Brentford away in a single. Bet number 3 sees 19th place Wolves playing host to 8th place Brighton, and Wolves managed to come back from a 1-0 deficit to draw against Brentford in their last game, courtesy of a Ruben Neves strike. It may prove to be a valuable point as it did keep Wolves just ahead of Forest at the foot of the table. With no wins in their last 3 and just a single victory in their last 7, things are starting to look a bit shaky for the Wolves. It's not really hard to see why. They simply don't score enough. They average the division's worst 0.5 goals per game from 1.2 key chances created per 90. Defence is not horrible though, 1.5 goals against, and they've even got 4 clean sheets to their name. It's just that they can't put the ball in the net. When we look at their home form, Wolves are on course to be relegated as things stand with the 18th best home record in the division, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses for only 8 points out of a possible 18. The visitors Brighton have no such struggles on the road with the 7th best record in the division. Brighton will be very pleased with their performance in their last match against Chelsea, as they got one over their old boss Graham Potter in convincing style, winning 4-1. The Seagulls score 1.6 goals per game from a 1.7 key chance created stat. Defence has been reasonably good as well, 1.3 goals against and 4 clean sheets. When we look at the head-to-head record, both sides won on the road last year, with Brighton picking up a 3-0 win in this very fixture. Across the 2 encounters last season, Brighton did average a higher possession statistic of 55%. They did outshoot Wolves with 29-19. They managed to get more shots on target with 11 compared to 6. And they did create more clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities, 5-2. And they did actually outscore Wolves by 3-1. Every possible metric is telling us that Brighton will have enough to pick up a win against the side from the West Midlands. I would like to lay Wolves if their odds strayed a little bit closer to 1/2. I will either be laying Wolves if it got to about 1-2. If not, I will take the plunge and take Brighton to win on the road at odds off 5-4. Our 4th and final selection sees 1st place Arsenal hosting 6th place Chelsea. And as we previously touched upon, Arsenal had no such difficulties beating Forest in their most recent game, winning 5-0. Arsenal bounced back from their draws against Southampton and their loss to PSV, and they're going to hope to build on their recent victory in this London derby. The Gunners score 2.3 goals per game from 2.6 key chances created. Defence has been pretty good, 1 goal against per game. Chelsea come into this game following a frankly embarrassing 4-1 defeat to Brighton. It's not that Brighton are a bad side, but losing 4-1 in such a atrocious performance against a side outside of the top 6 is a cause for concern. But let's not lose our heads here. This result did put a break on 9 games unbeaten for the Blues. But the flip side of that coin is Chelsea were unbeaten in 9 games before that match. The Blues do score 1.4 goals per game from 1.9 key chances. Defence is about even with their goals, as they concede 1.3 goals every 90 minutes. Both sides are in midweek action in the Champions League and Europa League respectively, but they have both qualified for the knockout rounds. What does this mean? As such, I think that we'll see heavy rotation midweek to encourage the strongest possible lineups ahead of this London derby match. When we look at the head-to-head record, both sides won a game last year, but Arsenal have won 4 of the last 5 meetings, and actually they've won 5 of the last 6 if you count the Florida Cup. Okay, so Arsenal have won 4 of the last 5. In 8 of the last 10 encounters, however, we have seen over 2.5 goals, and this is the angle that I'm looking for here in this game. Despite the fact that none of Arsenal's recent games have seen over 2.5 goals, they have played against opposition sides which are happy to sit back against them. I do not expect Chelsea to sit back, and I do think, and we do have to take into account that they have seen over 2.5 goals in a few of their recent games. A quick bit of maths shows us we should expect over 3 goals in this game, so I'm happy to back over 2.5 here on the final selection of the episode. So let's jump across to the spreadsheet and we'll quickly recap our selections. There we have it, 4 selections in the Premiership for this week. We start things off with Leeds versus Bournemouth. We'll take Leeds to pick up the win at Ellen Road. Odds of 0.77, £20 stake to return, £15.40. And actually, we've got 2 more games at the same time. That 3 o'clock on the Saturday is looking quite clustered. Nottingham Forest, Brentford. We're going to be taking Brentford for a half stake of £10. Odds of just better than 3-2. £16.60 is what we're hoping for. And at the same time, we're going to be either, depending on what the odds are, if the odds stay like this, we're going to take Brighton on a... If the odds stay like this, we're going to take Brighton on a half stake, £10 to return, £12.40. If Wolves sort of drop down in their price a bit and we can lay them off at 1-2, we will do that for a full stake of £20. So we'll just have to kind of see what the odds are as the hype for the match during the build-up of the match. But as things stand, £10 to win £12.40. And our one selection on the Sunday, Chelsea-Arsenal, North London derby here. Over 2.5 goals is what we're hoping for. 0.94 of the odds, £20 stake to return 1880. So across the weekend, we will be risking at least £60 sterling to hopefully pick up 63.20. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below. My name's been Nerdy Lover, and as always, have yourself a lovely day.